Welcome, friends. James Corbett here, CorbettReport.com, with your edition of Propaganda Watch for this week. And this is a series that you may have noticed by now where it's generally not the brightest or chirpiest or happiest subject matter. Generally, at best, it can be funny or entertaining in the sense that you have to laugh in order not to cry. But it generally covers some pretty dark subjects. So it is good to have a Propaganda Watch on something positive? Well, I'll leave that up for you to decide. But let's take this week's edition of the series from a cue from Corbett Report member HomeRemedySupply, who I'm sure some of you who have watched the Corbett Report comment section over the years recognize, HRS, who has been contributing to that comment section for several years now and always contributes very interesting anecdotes and links and other stuff, so thank you for that. And just recently, on my most recent edition of the newsletter, he wrote a little comment that I thought I would like to highlight for Propaganda Watch. He writes, on a brighter side note, from Robert F. Kennedy's Children's Health Defense Twitter, which opposes toxin-containing vaccines, was the following video. I was surprised. The video targeting youth promotes avoiding toxic chemicals in unhealthy foods, including GMOs. I'll admit I like celebrity Jamie Foxx, bracket Eric Marlin Bishop. Heck, he's from Terrell, just east of Dallas, Texas. I guess he is off the list for Monsanto advertising. A refreshing 2.5-minute message. I'm just a kid. How can I make a difference? And this is a link to a video, something calling itself the Cancer Schmancer Campaign, or cancerschmancer.org. I'll let you go and watch the video on your own time. I'm not going to play it here, but you can see what it is. And as HomeRemedySupply describes, it's a fighting cancer kind of video that isn't the cancer cult and the Cure Cancer cult, which you might remember I did a video on several years ago, the Cure Cancer cult, about the corporate-sponsored and corporate-approved version of being concerned about cancer is basically you, whatever it is, run for the cure, wear a pink ribbon, or whatever it is that you do in order to raise awareness and raise money for the big pharma manufacturers to go and work on the next treatment, which of course doesn't cure the cancer, let alone address the root causes of cancer. It's a scam that I've talked about on the podcast in the past, so I hope you'll go and check the show notes at CorbettReport.com for that video if you haven't seen it. But this is a refreshing antidote to that type of cure cancer cult. As HomeRemedySupply describes, these are people talking about no GMOs and organic and getting rid of sugar and other additives, or checking, at any rate, doing what you can to make sure you don't have these ingredients. Making your own cleaning fluids instead of buying the store-bought cancer toxic stew of chemicals. You can make your own cleaning products and things like this. It's again just 2.5 minutes. It's very normie friendly, I guess, with the happy music and the smiling celebrities, but hey, whatever works in order to get the message across, right? Question mark, right? This is an example of positive propaganda, is it not? I've broached this subject here on Propaganda Watch and on my other work over the years, but it is a question that I keep coming back to. Is there such a thing as positive propaganda? I've talked about the ways that manipulators and social engineers, would-be social engineers, have for at least a century now studied in precise detail how to manipulate humans' emotional responses and their non-rational limbic brain system in order to provoke them towards this behavior or towards that opinion. So can and should we be using similar methods to provoke people in a more positive direction? I hope that is not as simple and straightforward a question as it might seem at first blush, because you might be tempted to say, yes, of course. Well, if it works for them, then we ought to use it. Of course, the question is, well, if you have positive propaganda that prompts people in the right direction, aren't we still succumbing to that Skinnerian principle that these are just lab rats that we're experimenting on? We can make the pigeon do this behavior by programming it in the right way, and isn't that the wrong mindset to be coming at it from? And then who gets to decide what is positive in terms of positive propaganda? Again, it's the propagandist, and for reasons that are not always explicit. Again, I know nothing about this Cancer Schmancer campaign or its funding or its bigger history or context. As HomeRemedySupply says, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was tweeting it out, and people who watched my recent Crisis of Science podcast episode know that he has been campaigning against toxic additives and chemicals in the vaccines and elsewhere for a number of years now, so that's a hopeful sign. But again, there are ways that this type of positive propaganda could be used for ulterior purposes. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but it's something to think about, even as we explore the positive and happy note of positive propaganda. Hey, here's finally someone not just talking about giving money to Big Pharma so that they can go and develop the next cancer treatment that doesn't cure cancer. Here's someone who's talking about things you can do to hopefully avoid the cancer in the first place, which is the more important point. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with a couple of resources. Of course, I'll leave the links to all of the videos that I've talked about and all the different pieces that I've talked about in the show notes at CorbettReport.com. But perhaps more importantly, intriguingly, for those who missed it, back at Anarchapulco a few years ago when I went in 2015? Does time fly that fast? Maybe. 16? I don't know. A long time ago. I did have the chance to meet Benny from Joy Camp, and I did appear in a positive propaganda piece that Joy Camp put together about curing cancer, fighting cancer causes, which takes the traditional type of celebrity-sponsored, corporate-friendly type of message about how we fight cancer by raising money for Big Pharma and flips it on its head in an interesting way. I hope you'll get something out of it, but it does raise and broach that question generally about positive propaganda. Is it possible at all? And how can that tool be used? And who should be guiding that process? And what checks and balances do we need on that? Etc., etc. There's a lot of different worms that we could discover by opening this particular can. So I will leave it to the Corbett Report community in the comments section of this video to broach that topic. And I'd be interested to hear your opinions. That's going to do it for Propaganda Watch for this week. James Corbett at CorbettReport.com. Looking forward to talking to you again in the very near future.
GMOs,
malnutrition,
processed meats,
commercial cigarettes,
alcoholism, stress,
sugar,
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 sugar, sugar, sugar,
sugar.
sugar.
How many more? How many more?
How many more Big Macs?
how many more full body scans?
How many more mammograms?
How many more diet sodas?
How many more non-organic fruits?
How many more ribbons?
Enough.
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 Enough with the ribbons, man!
Demand the truth.
Right now.
As a mom,
As a dad.
As a husband.
as a wife,
As a student,
As a friend.
As an activist,
As a journalist.
As an American. As a Texan.
As a lover of life.
As a human being.
for your children.
For your body.
Don't stand up to cancer by giving away your money.
sit down and do your own research.
stand up to cancer causes.
No more aspartame. High fructose corn syrup.
Antiperspirants. Pesticides. Farmed salmon.
Monosodium glutamate.
Hydrogenated oils.
Heavy metals.
Industrial farming.
Monsanto.
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 Monsatan.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
Take back your life.
Right now.
Right now.
Stand up to cancer causes.
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 Causes. Causes.
Causes.
Causes.
Causes.
Causes.
Causes.
Stand up to cancer causes.